just about 6:45 and I'm underway right on high tide, and I'm just rounded Lobster Key. Did a little bit of navigating in some shallows. Be nice to have some better light for that, but hopefully I'm okay. And then I'm out into the open for a few hours until I get to the Yellow Bank. And time, I'm expecting to get to the Yellow Bank around 11 o'clock, maybe 12, which is just the right sort of time. So long as it's sunny, I'll get good light. Bollocks, the mainsail is twisted and stuck. It's not unfurling properly at the top. Somehow it's jammed and twisted, and I can't untwist it, so I'm going to have to... I've dropped it so I can get to the twist bit. I'm going to just have to take it off completely and try to reinstall it. Super irritating. You know, it's been fine for 6 weeks just when I need it on a long passage. It's buggered. Ah, frustrating. Oh, what a major pain in the ass that was. Oh God. Okay. So it was the very top was twisted, obviously, when I furled it. Maybe I didn't have the right tension on the sail when I was furling or something like that last time, but anyway, I dropped the sail. There was a battle to get it untwisted, and I got it untwisted. Raised the sail again, realised that it was only half in the track, so I had to drop the sail again, raise it again. Now it's good. I've tested the furling. It furls. I didn't furl it all the way, I just checked that it furled a little bit. Okay, so now I can bear away and get back on my track. And the wind's picked up as well. Whew. Okay, full main, full jib. Doing about 4.5, 5 knots under sail only. Kind of wind's a bit gusty. It drops down to 3.5 knots. Sorry, the speed, the wind drops down to kind of 10 knots, but then picks up again. It's supposed to build during the day, so I'll be prepared to reef later on, but right now, good conditions, make hay. Now I'm going to go and enjoy the rest of my coffee after a very eventful morning. The wind got a bit fluky, so I'll put the engine on. Yeah, it's right now there's a good gust. I'm doing 6 knots with the engine, but then it'll drop down. I'll be doing 2 knots for a few minutes, and then I'll gust again. Anyway, I'm right approaching the Yellow Bank. In fact, I'm kind of crossing it now, and so I wanted to get across quickly in control, and so yeah, that's why I've got the engine on. And I've adopted my lookout position. Perfect timing with the sun directly behind my shoulder. I don't know if you can really see that, but you can see kind of light and then dark. Well, the dark isn't because it's shallow, the dark is because there's a bloody cloud. That's Nassau in the distance, about 5 miles away. Another hour and a bit and I'll be there. Unfortunately, all the marinas seem to be full. I'll plan to anchor at the west end, the west channel anchorage, which looks like the most protected for the next few days of weather. I had 3 goes at anchoring at the east channel anchorage bit, and it didn't hold at all. Like, you know, the anchor grabbed, but when I
laid out the chain and then bore down at 2500, it just ripped it up. So that's no good at all. I did it 3 times, 3 different places. So now I've moved up to the west anchorage, and hopefully I'll find somewhere that'll work here. Okay, anchored. Not the most salubrious of areas, but basically all the way at the end of this west anchorage. Maybe a few more boats will fit in there before you get to the cruise terminal. And I've got some shipyardy stuff going on behind me. But I'm anchored in what, 12 feet of water? Yeah, anchored in 12 feet of water. I've got 75 feet of chain out. I'm in a sand patch where the anchor is. I bore down at 2500 RPM, and I wasn't moving, so I'm comfortable here. And you know, it's not too far of a dinghy ride to get to Bay Street Marina dock.
So it's Friday morning, breezy night but not too bad. Now the wind is gusting 30 knots, and this is the start of a long weekend. Just builds from here on in. I do have a great view of the cruise ships coming in though. It's pretty cool.
A brave chap going out with 30 knot winds. Wind's building. I've prepped my second anchor. I've got it up at the bow, tied on, and ready to deploy if primary anchor starts to drag. Not really much else I can do. Yeah, just hunkered down. I ran the engine for 45 minutes to try to boost the batteries. There's not a lot of sun, and probably that'll be the last of the sun we see for the next couple of days. It's getting pretty chaotic out here. There's people anchoring kind of close.
In hindsight, this is when I should have objected, rather than trying to be a nice neighbour.
I'll keep my fenders ready. Okay, one of these people swing into me.
I also got a couple of waterproof grab bags ready, with computers, phone, wallet, boat paperwork and passport, just in case.
It's about 3:30, 4 o'clock in the morning now. Rain started about an hour ago. A little bit of thunder and lightning, but not too gusty yet. The most intense gusts are forecast for about kind of early morning. So just a bit of drizzle to go through first. Well, drizzle, pretty heavy rain. My neighbour is ridiculously close to me. I'm going to have to ask him to move when it gets light.
Well, that was a pretty eventful few hours. Rain started about 3 o'clock, reasonably light to start with, and then about 4:30 it started dumping down a bit heavier, and the wind wasn't too bad. It would kind of gust and then die down completely, gust and then die down completely. But around about that time, my neighbour started swinging pretty close to me, so I was up on anchor watch. I had a fender out, and his swim platform was just a couple of feet away from from my hull. So I was screaming and shouting at him. Obviously no no response. The generator was on, I could see, and everybody was probably tucked up in bed enjoying the AC. An hour or so later, somebody came up on deck, so I explained the situation to them and asked them to be prepared to move. And then for the last two hours, basically, they've been fending me off with their boat hook when they get too close, which is a bit irritating. I'd rather they use a fender. And in between that time, there was one massive gust came out of nowhere that almost felt like it knocked the boat over. I thought I saw something going flying from the roof, maybe one of the solar panels, but they're still there. Obviously everything fell, my coffee went, everything that was on the counters went flying over. It was really, I've never seen anything like it. I guess it was just a super strong gust, and at that time I happened to be beamed on to where the gust came from. Anyway, it only lasted less than a minute, and then it was past. So God knows how strong it was, but it was a super strong gust.
It wasn't the last. It wasn't long before I got hit by another massive gust. The boat didn't actually go all the way over. I just got knocked down by the gust while holding the camera. But it was pretty dramatic at the time. My neighbour's day got worse, but they lost their dinghy in that last blow.
That was the third round, and pretty intense, but I clocked 52 knots on that one. 52 knots on the Beaufort scale is a strong gale, and there's only like strong gale, whole gale, storm, and then hurricane, so it's getting up there in the rankings. Another clear spell for about, I don't know, a couple of hours maybe, and then hopefully the last front looks as though it's coming through on weather radar. It looks really short, sharp, powerful, so hopefully not too intense. Looking forward to cooking my tea and then getting some sleep. It's been a long night last night, long day today, and hopefully not too long a night tonight. It's just been band after band after band, and hopefully this is the last one, and hopefully this will just be, some heavy rain and no nasty winds. I don't want any more of these 50-knot winds. They're horrifying. Can't wait for this to be over. Get some sleep.
One more heavy downpour, and after almost 24 hours, the storm was finally past.
So I'm at the Bay Street Marina dinghy dock. I'm going first to the Queen's Staircase, and that's this end of town. Take some quick snaps of that, and then head back to the other end of town, which is where the grocery store is.
This walkway and the 66 steps at the end were carved out of the natural limestone as part of the fortifications built by Lord Dunmore in the late 1700s. But of course he didn't do the actual digging. That was done by 600 slaves, and it took them 2 years. According to Wikipedia, it was named the Queen's Staircase in honour of Queen Victoria after the end of slavery in the British Empire. perhaps it ought to also memorialise the approximately 10 slaves per step it took to build. I was reasonably early, so the steps were quite quiet, but when I got to the top, the party had already started.
So I'm standing pretty much at the highest point in Nassau, at Fort Fincastle, and I'll point it out on, I'll have to put a little marker in, but just down there somewhere, you can just about see the mast of my boat. So I'm back at the Bay Street Marina using their dinghy dock. So I've did a little sightseeing, went to the shops, went to Starbucks, did some editing, had nice coffee and a chat with some South African guy who was interesting, traveling around the world. And now I'm heading back to the boat and hopefully get to the fuel dock to fill up a couple of jerry cans of fuel and a couple of jerry cans of water. And that should be me done for my reprovisioning. One of the good things about reprovisioning in Nassau is I guess they must have a still lingering British influence. So I'm able to get some Waitrose squash. It's not quite Ribena, but it's not bad. And even better, I just love Bourbon creams. Busy day. I'd stopped at the fuel dock on the way in. They said they were open till 6. So I had enough time to get back, stir the provisions. I emptied the jerry cans of water into the water tank and then motored back, dinghied back to the fuel dock. It's always a bit of an adventure, those places, that one particularly because there was a lot of other boats there. So that's all done. So I've filled up the tank with one jerry can, so I've filled up the water tanks. I've got full fuel on board. I haven't got full water because I would have taken a couple of runs, but I think I've got plenty of water. Fingers crossed, touch wood. So I'm ready to leave if the weather is suitable tomorrow. And I did check quickly the forecast, and it looked as though the winds swung round earlier than previously the previous forecasts. So I'm planning now to leave tomorrow. If the weather's no good, I'll obviously not go tomorrow. I'll come back. But if it's okay, then I'll get to Berry Islands, and on the way I'll decide whether to stay there overnight and then continue on to Bimini. Oh, the only other fly in the ointment is today's Sunday. The liquor stores aren't open on Sunday, so I wasn't able to replenish my beer stocks. And I have 7 beers left on the boat, so that is hopefully enough to get me at least to Bimini. Cheers. Oh. That's good. It's been a hectic few days. I'll sleep well tonight.